grab a beer, and pull up a chair. Welcome to the Northwoods Beer Guy Podcast. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Northwoods Beer Guy Podcast. This is Mike, the Northwoods Beer Guy, and today we have a special visitor. Well, you've heard him before, but this is the first time I think that you and I have done barrel age together on the podcast.
I'm pretty sure it is, yeah I'm kind of excited about this.
Yeah, me too. So we are joined, as you could tell, by BK.
Good evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you're at.
Yes. Like I said, we've done a number of podcasts together, but we've never really broke into the barrel age stuff.
We've done a lot of weird ones where we were all over the place. We've done, I think the last one we really did, we were on location, right?
Yes.
We were in Florida.
Yep, Florida. We've done them, of course, up in the Northwoods, and we've done them other in the cities. We've done some, but we've never done barrel aged. And today you are actually at my house.
Correct.
We have some stuff we're doing this weekend, hopefully, weather permitting. Mother Nature can't decide what she's doing.
Always temperamental.
Yeah, exactly.
I kind of hope she didn't hear that.
Yeah. Now we jinxed it. Now,
probably so.
Yeah, crazy stuff. Well, hey, you know what? Let's start into one, and then we'll just kind of see where it takes us.
I should say so. I think we'll start with of these. Well, just so everybody knows, Mike and I sat on 4 of these for quite a while. We've had them.
Not literally, but figuratively.
Right? Figuratively. But there's only 4 of them, so we brought a couple extras. And the first one we're going to have is one that I had very recently, and I rated very high. And it was just it was something that I had to bring so Mike could try.
You know what is funny? I just realized when Susie and I were in Miami, when our daughter was playing in that tournament down there a couple of years ago, we went to this brewery.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was interesting. They had giant mushrooms all over the place. I'm not exactly sure what that stood for, but it was interesting.
And well, if it's anything like this beer, then it's interesting. There's no doubt about it.
Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is by Tripping Animals Brewing, and they're out of Doral, Florida, which is like a suburb of Miami kind of deal. Right. So, the description on this one. Now, this one is not barrel aged, correct?
I don't believe it is. No.
Okay. So it says Moonlight Mint is actually the name of it, Moonlight Mint Stout. Mm-hmm. And it says Moonlight Mint is a velvety, smooth conditioned with chocolate mint, offering a refreshing twist of minty goodness in every sip. At 7% ABV, this smooth brew is perfect for those cool nights when you're craving a rich chocolate mint experience. The balance of flavors delivers the ideal mix of indulgence and refreshment, making it a must for the stout lovers and mint enthusiasts alike.
So basically, put away the Girl Scout cookies and crack a beer when you get up in the middle of the night.
Exactly.
Or maybe not do that.
Well, they say there was supposedly bad stuff in the Girl Scout cookie, but there's bad stuff in anything that tastes good, they say.
Anything you overindulge in is bad.
Yes.
I mean, let's be honest.
That is true. Now, on this can, it's a 16-ounce can, so you are pot committed, so to speak, when you crack her open. But it does have like a bluebird on it.
Which is odd, right?
Yeah, kind of.
It's a strange, and you don't see bluebirds at night.
No.
So I'm not sure maybe that's part of the mushroom portion.
Oh, maybe when
the artist's inspiration. That's very possible.
When they're using the mushrooms, they saw bluebirds. So let's crack this bad boy open. Now, you got this in the cities, correct?
I got this in the cities. So our local liquor store finally has come to their senses. And is carrying some oddball stuff in 4-packs and singles. And this was just one that I grabbed. I think it was right around... No, it was probably around February.
Okay.
Just because it looked good and something different, not super strong. So we're starting on the light end, the 7%.
Yes. Yes.
But this one I really, really enjoyed. I'll let you talk more about it until
I'm trying to.
You really don't get
the aroma. There's not a huge amount of aroma.
No,
because you're expecting like a minty kind of aroma, but you don't really get that.
And this one's still ice cold, but it really is a smooth drinking stout.
I still get the mint.
And it's not nothing in this beer is overpowering.
I was going to say it is not overpowering in the least, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, well, mint can be polarizing, and you just never know when you're when you look at, again, we talk about chili peppers in beer can be polarizing. We talk about coriander when we laugh about it being in beer. Certain spices, if they put clove in it or some of those holiday beers, it can really ruin the taste of a beer. This particular one, it doesn't. Everything is, as far as I'm concerned, as well adjusted. Let's put it that way.
Right. Yeah. And this one they are still cold.
Still very cold.
We should have probably.
We were thirsty.
Yeah. I was going to say, unfortunately, we didn't let them warm up like we should have. But
that's all right.
You can, like I said, that it still impresses me that you can get that mint flavor.
I remember, of course, I drank all 16 ounces of it. I remember as this one warmed up, everything really came together better. Mm-hmm. So we made, we'll have our sipper now. And if you want to reserve or the right to adjust your score, we'll come back to it after a couple other tries and see. But I do remember it really getting velvety, like they talk about, very smooth. And again, everything's very subtle. But the other thing, and I listened to you and Jim talk about the stouts the other day, when the Irish stouts, I enjoy that bitterness. I like that kind of in your face adjustment that they do with these. And this one still has it.
Right.
It's not covered in chocolate or cocoa nibs or cinnamon or any of the other weird stuff they put in there, like marshmallows and bananas and all the other funny stuff. This is just a hint of mint. I told my wife it reminds me of the little Andy's mints you used to get at restaurants.
There you go. Yep, I agree with you there.
With that smoothness.
I was sitting there thinking, okay, what does it remind me of? And that's exactly kind of what it reminds me of. It's a little, like I said, a little bit more on the mellow side of the mint. But I do think part of that is because it's colder than what it should be.
Like I said, we'll come back.
We'll come back at the end and we can retry. We'll retry, a little one, see if it's... and then, like you said, I do agree we can readjust our scoring if we want, just because... to give it a fair shot.
Exactly.
Because right now I think they're all going to be a little bit...
Right.
They probably shouldn't, I shouldn't put them in the oven.
Yeah, let's
not the microwave.
No microwave. No air fryers. We'll let Mother Nature
We'll let it slowly warm up a little bit.
So I remember giving this, I think I gave it a 4-1, if I remember. And again, at first it was just good, and then as it warmed up, it really grew on me.
Right.
Into being like, I would take another one of these anytime there was 2 of them in the fridge or in a cooler.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to definitely have to come back and revisit it to see, because like I said, right now I couldn't rate it like that, just because it's very mellow flavor. Right. We're not getting a lot of the flavor yet, but we will definitely come back on it. But I still like it. It's very good flavor. Now, I was sitting there kind of warming that glass in my hand a little bit, and it does, a little bit more comes out.
It changes. So, this one impressed me just on how much the flavor profile changed. It really made a big difference in it, for sure. Yeah. I think there were 5 or 6 or 8 of us sitting around, and so I wasn't in any hurry to power through it. I think it was probably cooking in the kitchen and just kept coming back to it. It really impressed me. And again, I don't think mine was this cold when I first tried it.
So you're going to stay at your 4-1?
I'll stay where I'm at. Okay. Yeah, no,
I think my preliminary score right now, I'm going to give it like a 3.5 right now. And then, like I said, we will revisit it just to see how it changes.
How much difference, yeah.
Because I can tell that is going to be, there's going to be a big difference.
There's more mint comes out, but it's not, I always say too, and think to myself, does this taste like fake mint?
Right.
Or does this taste like a leaf of it's in there? Like, did I get this out of the mojito bottle, or did I put mint in there and make a mojito?
Right. Yeah, that's one of those things, because, like you said, they get that fake mint flavor, and it's like, why?
Cherries, apples, they all have a fake flavor and a not fake flavor.
You could use the natural ingredients, or you could use the artificial ingredients. And the artificial ingredients, typically 9 times out of 10, you can tell that it's the fake,
Except for in Captain Morgan, when they put the fake stuff in there, it was great for 50 years, and then they started putting real stuff, and everybody had to adjust.
Yeah, that's just weird, too. If it ain't broke, why do you feel that you have to fix it?
How many people in the world order a Captain and Coke and you change the formula? I thought, this is Coke, new Coke all over. Yeah. I can't believe people would do that.
It's like, really? Don't make us angry. But, then after a while you get used to it, you forget, and then it's like, oh, okay, no big deal.
No big deal. Or all your bottles that you have left over that aren't open become collectors and expensive.
Correct. Yeah. That too. So, all right. Well, yeah, that's good on that. And like I said, we're going to come back to it, because I do feel bad that I'm not giving it a good, honest rating yet, because
we got to come back to it.
Yep. All right. Well, hey, so now the second one is another one that you had brought with, and I remember that Susie and I had went to this brewery.
You guys have been there. For
It's
sure.
in the cities, and I remember they had one of those indoor bocce ball courts.
I gotcha. Yep.
And nobody was playing. No, there were some people playing it when we got there, and it was just I had never seen that at a brewery before. I've seen other stuff, but that's the first time I had saw one of those indoors, and it was like makes sense,
why not?
And I know they had, and I'm trying to remember the name of it because we had bought a bottle of it because I had it on tap, and it was a barrel aged beer, and it was really good. So they know what they're doing.
And they've got some weird stuff.
Oh yeah.
So they've really gotten into the sours. Wes, my son, he's had several of their fruited sours and really liked them. There's a raspberry one. I think I have one left in the fridge. There was I want to say you and I had a lemonade one of some sort. That wasn't too bad. It was a good summer, getting hot out style beer.
Yep.
And some really weird ones that I just, I would not even buy on a normal day, or even for one of these. You just look at them and go, I'm not going to do that. But this one caught my eye. And again, it was kind of in the same aisle of singles that I found the Moonlight Mint. This one is called not peanut butter. It is Monkey Bar. Now, I looked up Monkey Bar, and there's several recipes, and it makes sense why they call it this. So this cheeky imperial pastry stout is an invention of our own creation containing banana, peanut butter, chocolate, and marshmallow. Grab a Monkey Bar.
Now we should say this is is it Pryes?
Pryes. I think it's
Pryes Brewing. Pryes. Pryes Brewing.
Out of Minneapolis.
Yep. Now, this is going to be interesting to see because we've had some where you can definitely taste marshmallow, and then there's other ones where you really can't. So,
and almost every one that advertises banana, believe it or not, has been good.
Yeah.
I don't think we've had bad.
We've had a number of really good, like Bananas Foster
as well.
And it's like
Hubbard, was that Hubbard Creek?
Hubbard Cave or whatever it is. They've had a few. Then there was I think
Evil Twin had one.
I think Goose Island had one just recently, and it was like they're good. Pretty good.
It seems it's an odd ingredient to me because bananas give me heartburn.
Oh, really?
Why? I don't know. I can do hot sauce all day, but bananas give me heartburn.
Yeah.
So most of the time I'm cramping, but that's okay. But in a beer, it seems to smooth things out or meld flavors together.
It definitely, like the mouthfeel seems like it's smoother, than what your normal one is. Now, we should mention too, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, this one, we upped the ABV just slightly to 11%.
Yeah, not quite double, but almost.
Almost. And this, once again, is in a 16-ounce can.
And I think we just looked at them. We're 11 all the way out now.
Yes. Boy, this one, when I was pouring it, I was going to say, it looks like a lot lighter in color. But then when I got and we're using taster glasses, but it darkens up when you get it.
It's like almost like it settles in there.
Yeah.
Oh, I definitely smell the peanut butter. And it's the good kind of peanut butter.
Yes. And that was, I know Jim and I have talked about it. You and I have talked about it. Sometimes you get that where you can tell it was like that powdered peanut butter. And the flavor, it's almost a gritty flavor to it.
I always like to think that it either tastes like peanuts or Jif.
Yeah.
Right.
And this smells like like you opened a jar of peanut butter.
Yeah, it does.
Wow. I'm looking forward to this one.
Oh, that's yummy.
Yeah, I'll dump that on.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead. We'll get rid of that.
Yeah, get rid of that one.
Stand by, folks. We gotta get rid of this.
Yeah, we gotta get rid of it. This is that's pretty good.
And it's 11%.
Yeah.
I don't taste 11%. I really do not.
That is wild, dude.
This is another one where I'm really excited to let it warm up.
Yeah.
To temp. And I think actually on the back of that one, it may actually give the temperatures to serve.
Oh, let's see.
Some of them do. Some of the recent ones have had it on.
It says keep cold, contains lactose, roll first, then open. I kind of rolled it in my hands. I didn't roll it on the table. I'm trying to see if it says the temp. I'm not sure. But boy, that's a good one. And this would be one of those sneaky ones that would sneak up on you. Mm-hmm. Get like 2 cans into it, and you're all of a sudden like, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm messed up.
Yeah. There it was. I'm not operating machinery. The one thing that I do like about the Pryes, and again, if I'm saying it wrong, then somebody can...
Yeah, we apologize.
Send an email, hate mail, that's fine.
Yeah.
Is that they do this on the back of their can, and we may have taken pictures and put on it. They do a taste profile.
Yep.
So there's this weird circle on the back.
Oh yeah.
And I forget what the chart is. It's not a Gantt chart. It's not whatever, but it shows, it stretches where they feel the taste is, right?
Yep.
So I think that's kind of a neat added thing. If you look at the back of a lot of theirs, they'll have all the quote unquote ingredients that they call out, and then they kind of level it out so you can see this one's more peanut butter, less chocolate, a little bit of marshmallow, more banana, or whatever it is. I'm not looking at it.
That is like pretty crazy. I've never seen that on cans before.
If you look at theirs, a lot of theirs has it, and I think it's just it's a neat concept.
Boy, I tell you, that the aroma in that.
It is not a dark.
Is crazy.
For a pastry stout, it's very light colored.
It reminds me almost, the color wise, like a brown ale.
Or even not a black lager, but a dark lager.
Right. Yep.
Like almost amber-bock colored.
There you go. Yep. Amber-bock. Yeah, that's almost the color.
Not that I would drink that stuff.
Yeah.
Nor have I lately.
Yeah. I don't know.
That is a really good beer.
That is, yeah.
Cold, even cold. Like, again, I'm excited to.
Yeah, when that one warms up a little bit, that could move up substantially too. Yeah. But that's like.
I get all the taste too. I get nutty. I get chocolate. I get the pastry, the doughy taste. I get banana just a touch. And I get a little bit of marshmallow. And that is a well blended beer.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you. As far as like score wise, initially, again, what do you think?
Wow, I almost have to start at 4. I really think that's that good. It's not boozy. I like most of the peanut butter ones. I'm surprised that the banana didn't set me off a little bit. I'm 3.94 right there. I mean, that's where I'm at.
Just to let you know, I'm exactly the same. I'm going, man, I hope he doesn't come in at like a 3.3 or something, because then I'm going to be like, why am I so off on that? But I'm right there, 3.9 or a 4 to start with, because again, I get no boozy flavor.
No.
I get the peanut butter. I get, like you said, the banana is not over the top, which is good. I do kind of get that marshmallow kind of a mouthfeel. That's good.
It's silky.
That is really good. And like I said, you could chug one of those things and then all of a sudden you're going to be in trouble. But it's like, holy cow, it's amazing to me. And I know
a whole can of that tastes like a nap.
yeah. I was going to say, and I know we've talked about it on the podcast before, but that's the thing that's kind of wild is I think a lot of breweries are getting so much better at barrel aging that it seems like they can get those higher ABVs without being so strong on like a bourbon flavor or whatever the barrel was. Which, because I think a lot of times for people that haven't drank a lot of barrel aged beers, that kind of turns some of them off. If they're not big into bourbon or rum or whiskey, whatever, if it's too strong, then they're like, oh, that tastes boozy. This one, you would never know that is a barrel,
No, not at all. And I know Jim likes the bourbon, the stronger bourbon taste, right? Mm-hmm. On certain beers, I do as well, with no doubt. There are some of the evil twin ones, like Even More Jesus is a classic example. That's got a strong bourbon taste to it, but it's blended so well with the imperial stout portion of it that it's really good. That is a wonderful blend of different flavors that go along with it. That is. Yep. And unfortunately, I'm reading the back of it. It's a limited release. We're going to have to go pick some more up.
Wouldn't you know it?
And I only brought one.
They
have 4-packs, so I'll have to go.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah, that is amazing. Like I said, that peanut butter tastes like peanut butter. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things that I'm really impressed by. It tastes like they took jars of peanut butter and put the actual peanut butter in there, and so, like I said, sometimes you get the ones that you can tell use the powdered peanut butter, and it has that grainy mouthfeel to it, where this one is done.
This is a well done beer. If anybody wanted to break into a barrel age but didn't want or doesn't like the taste of the barrel, so to speak, this is a great one. If you like peanut butter beers, this is a strong one, but drink with caution.
But it doesn't taste strong. That's the crazy part.
That's the caution part.
Now, I may have misspoke because I don't remember. Is it barrel aged or not? I don't think it said that it was barrel aged, but if it isn't, it's still 11%.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
But boy,
actually,
so it probably isn't. No. But it's it's a high octane pastry stout, but boy, that is good.
Usually, almost anymore, if you see imperial, it's almost always a barrel of some sort.
Right.
But no, it doesn't say barrel aged, so it wouldn't necessarily be there.
Right.
So I've got it pulled up on Untapped right now, and I'm like, well, maybe I'll come back to it.
Yeah,
before I have to go correct it.
That's what I'm going to do too. I'm have my preliminary score,
Right.
and then we'll go back and revisit. So now, Brian, we're into the Mobcraft 4-pack.
That's right. So we purchased. I think we were together when we got it.
It was in the cities. They had one.
And one
of these.
So we bought it, and I made Mike Pinky promise to me that I would be involved with it. Because there's one oddball in here that neither one of us have had very many of at all. And the other three look fantastic. We have another, at some point we'll do, we had another 4-pack of random imperials barrel aged that we haven't gotten to from another Minnesota, different Minnesota brewery. But these looked intriguing, and these are all 11%. They're all barrel aged.
These are all barrel aged. Yeah,
all barrel aged.
And this is their 2023.
Right.
It looks like they do each year. They have a different set of them, I guess. But this is the only ones I've ever seen.
I've kept an eye out because I did know that those were 23s.
Yep.
And I've not seen a new batch of them, so this will be interesting. We'll have to see.
Well, hey, so we've had a number of beers from Mobcraft, and I think the one time I had got a advent calendar. They had, for the 24 days, 20, I think it was 24 days of Christmas. And I think on the 24th, they may have had, was that a barrel aged? Maybe it wasn't. If it was, there was only one, and it wasn't one of these. I've never heard of them doing much barrel aging. So I'm intrigued. I'm hoping, with my fingers crossed, that they did a good job, Well, but they sound really interesting.
The barrels themselves, we have had stouts from them, so we do know that they do dabble in the dark side.
Yep.
But obviously, barrel aging is a whole other component to that. But they did, as far as I can see, they started out with some decent barrels, right?
Right.
They didn't. There's 3 specific and one.
No, I'm still wondering if we want to switch these two.
Non-specific and then So
let's do that. Just
while you're switching those, I think we should rinse the peanut butter or work the taint.
Oh, there you go.
Else.
Yeah, because that could change our score on this, and we'd be like, well, wait a second, maybe that isn't. All right, let's see. So I don't exactly know how you pronounce the name of this. Is it Padisha? Padishah.
Padisha, I would say.
And this is their 2023, and it's on here. It says extra, and it's EXXTRA. This is off of Untapped. 11%, and their description is imperial stout aged for 2 years in bourbon barrels.
There we go.
That's it.
Well, 2 years is a long
2 years
barrel time.
Yeah, it's not quite like Central Waters, where they have, they've had some for 6 years in barrels and 5 years. But this is going to be interesting. These are, once again, in cans, but these are 12-ounce cans. And I remember the 4-pack was a little on the spendier side.
Yep.
Which for, you and I, we're used to that. So it wasn't a big shock. But I know, I said,
it's not Natty Light.
Ooh.
Oh,
this is a little bit dark. I would definitely say that this is not a whole lot of head on it. There you go.
Yeah, that is. But what little bit there is really, really dark bubbles.
And it's gone fairly quick, the head.
Oh, it smells boozy.
You can smell the barrel in that one.
Definitely. It's boozy.
Wow.
But it's
not as strong as I was expecting.
I was expecting a little more based on the smell.
The aroma was, I think, a lot more boozy smell. It does, I'm not going to lie, it does have a barrel flavor. Like, you get the boozy flavor. But, boy, that's, I don't think I would suggest chugging it.
No.
But this is not bad. I don't mind that.
It's smooth. Again, way on the barrel side of flavor. Definitely boozy. It's got that sweet, almost sticky sweetness that the boozy or the barrel age comes with.
Yep, I agree with you. That really
almost like a licorice taste.
Kind of, right? Yeah, a little bit like an anise type, flavor to it. But boy, I tell you, it's from the aroma. I thought it was going to be a lot stronger of a bourbon flavor, but it's not bad at all. I don't mind this.
So according to the English pronunciation guide, it's Padishah.
Okay,
I don't know what it means.
Right.
But it says it's a sovereign title of Persian origin.
Okay, and all of these have that name on them, but then they're different barrels. So we went with this one first because it just says bourbon barrel.
It's the most generic.
Yes, the rest of them actually have barrels that we know of.
Yep.
You know, or that what
Either
it has.
name brand or very specific.
Yes, yep, it's right on the cans. So, boy, that's
a smooth one.
That's smooth.
The only thing that I think it does lack is it doesn't get the bitterness for a stout, right?
Yep.
Oh, that's what a stout is. Like you guys talked about with the Irish stuff, that bitterness and a Guinness and that kind of stuff can be overpowering. I don't get any of that in this. I got more of the stout flavor in the peanut butter in the Pryes than I did.
When you take smell it, the aroma, it almost has kind of a. I'm trying to. If you smell yours, I'm trying to figure out what that like on the tail end of the aroma. There's almost a kind of a.
It's almost
something there.
Well, it's almost a coffee smell.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. Yeah.
I mean, there might be some coffee in it, but it's got a little bit of roasted malt.
I was sitting there. What is that?
I think it's coffee of some sort, almost like a cold press. We had one not too long ago. Well, that Pryes has a cold press coffee stout.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And that one's an espresso stout or whatever it was. It was a good one, but he had a light coffee.
Yep.
Yeah, it kind of has a coffee aroma to me.
While we're contemplating this one, I was just going to tell the listeners that when you and I were talking last night, I had told you that I had another ghost pepper beer, a stout, a couple weeks ago. Again, it wasn't. It did have a little heat to it, but it wasn't bad at all. But it was kind of interesting what the number of people that were there. And when you said it was a ghost pepper, I saw the people that brought it, those two, myself, and I saw one other guy take some. Otherwise, people are like, "Oh, ghost pepper, no." No, you know. And I still say the hottest beer we've ever had was a jalapeno ale.
It was a really hot one. So Jack Pine makes one that I don't think you've had it, but
I don't think so.
They have a jalapeno cream ale, and my father-in-law, thought he was going to be tough, and he drank a whole one, and he was not wanting to go fishing the next day. Let's put it that way.
Pretty crazy, boy. So this one,
I'm hoping. Obviously, these are all. I'm assuming the same starter, right? Mm-hmm. This is the base where we're building from.
That's what I'm guessing.
This is a solid base for sure. I don't think I can go a 4 on it.
Right.
I think I'm right at that 3.8, 3.75, 3.8. It's a really good barrel aged beer, but I feel like knowing that there's different ones coming, but I feel like they could have given it some more bitterness. It's too sweet to be a stout.
Yep, it does have a sweetness to it. It's not Avery sweet, but it's definitely has a sweetness to it, and I think it'll be
okay in a barrel, right? The barrel age is a lot of them do get sweeter.
Yep, and I do think this is another. These are going to be ones too that I think when we come back to them, we'll try it again a little bit once it warms up. Mm-hmm. It might be after the podcast or whatever, but when we try them, it may change our final score. Right. But I think we're going to be in the ballpark. And I agree, Brian. I think that I'm sitting right now on this one at like a 3.7, 3.8.
Yep.
11%. It doesn't taste like 11%. It's not quite as not 11% as the monkey one.
Right.
But for a barrel age, it's still really good, and it doesn't drink harsh.
No. It's a sipping style stout or barrel aged for sure.
Yep.
I just wish there was a little more bitterness there, or more of that roasted bitterness that's in the Irish stouts or the other stouts.
Right.
It's still, like I said, I'm excited about the next 3.
Yep.
Because that's a great base to build on. So,
it should be interesting. So, it's funny you brought up the last podcast we did where it was the Irish, or 2 weeks ago, I'm sorry, with the Irish beers. And, it was kind of funny because, I thought, okay, I intentionally stayed away from Guinness.
Right.
Because I wanted to have us try some other stuff. But boy, even when we got done, it was like, it's hard to beat.
I was hollering other names on the radio.
Kilkenny.
You know that I am horribly biased to Kilkenny. It is probably my overall favorite beer in the world.
Yep.
But I remember when I was trying to replace Guinness with something else, when we talked about it, you got Murphy's Irish Stout, and there's a bunch of other ones that are in that category that as you start to shop for them. But it's hard to beat just going back to a Guinness and having one. They're not super strong. They're nice and dark. They're on nitro all the time. And there's just a staple, right?
Yep.
There are a few things better in life than a medium rare ribeye and a Guinness. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's just kind of how I look at it.
Exactly. Well, all right. Well, hey, let's go to the second one. And this again is, how did you pronounce that? Padit?
Oh, now you're going to make me remember things. It's Padishah.
Padishah. Okay. But this one was aged in Jim Beam barrels.
Jim Beam. Jim, this one's for you.
Yeah. And it says, again, here's their description. Imperial stout aged in Jim Beam bourbon barrels.
Yeah. Did it
Short, sweet, and to the point.
Yeah, there you go. Does it give a time how long this one is?
Not on Untapped. I'm looking on the can
It
here.
doesn't say on that side back there, but I didn't know if it said on
so
the
it
front.
does not say. Does it say on here? And of course, they write in this micro print.
I don't remember it saying.
I don't think it says on there what the length of time was. You'd think at least you'd hope it'd be 2 years. The first one was 2 years. So,
And just so everybody knows, these cans kind of have this neat looking.
well, it is
I'm gonna call it a rug design.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like you've got some big rug.
Persian rug.
I'm guessing, right? There's a really neat designs on there, and everyone's a little bit different.
Yep. This one's got kind of a you'll have to
look it
I
up.
can't even describe it. So let's
Do you think the weird detail on dollar bills? It's kind of the detail.
now
It's
this
really
one
funny.
smells totally different than the first one.
Oh, I think I know who this guy is. It smells like Jim Beam.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
100%. It smells like Jim
definitely
Beam.
smells different. You know, the aroma is different than that. Whatever that first one was, it wasn't.
I'm having some flashbacks. I'm just, if I start to squirm in my seat, Mike's gonna have to.
If
put
all of a sudden
pause.
there's a pause and then I'm on here by myself.
Oh, 100%. That's Jim Beam barrels. It's a way different taste.
Wow, that is totally a different taste than the last one.
I don't think it spent as much time in the barrel as the other.
No, I think this is a lot younger. You know what I mean? Less.
Yeah.
It's almost got a almost like a sourness to it, doesn't it?
Like a sour mash. Like
Yeah.
this is an odd taste. We've had stuff with Jim Beam barrels before, but this is kind of in that, like I said, in that category. If you've ever had sour mash, right?
Right. Yep.
This is kind of in that old wild turkey style.
Yeah. Again, it's not bad at
No,
all,
it's just
but
extremely different.
boy, I think I'd almost, if I had to choose right now off of just a couple sips, I would almost take that first one before this one.
There's an odd, maybe my taste buds are broken from this, but it's almost a citrusy
Yes.
note to it that obviously Jim Beam doesn't have, but it's like a citrus note, a sour citrus note.
I wish they gave a little more description.
Yeah,
because it's
like somebody threw one
It's
lemon
like-
in it or something.
there's
There's a
like
sour
that,
citrus
or
note to it.
almost a grapefruity, like an orange peel.
Yeah,
Like that tartness of that peel.
lemon zest or
is
orange
what
zest.
what it really reminds me of.
Yeah, that's
Boy,
interesting because Jim Beam doesn't have any of those things.
No, and I don't know.
I don't know if you ever had the what is the Jim Beam, like their green label, like their really young stuff that comes out of them. That one's got a weird the whiskey itself, not the
Right. Yeah.
It's got an oddball taste to it, but this one's odd.
Boy, I'm going to come back to it afterwards and try it, but right now I'm not a big fan
I'm not
of
a fan
this
of
one.
it's well.
I would not recommend it.
I can't say I don't like it. I will say that it's extremely weird based on what I expected.
Yes.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Because it is almost like it was a barrel-aged sour. And we've had some barrel-aged sours, and this is kind of in that same category. As far as if you didn't look at this glass, and obviously you can't look at the glass, but if you blindfolded somebody and let them taste this, they would not think that it was a barrel-aged stout.
No.
It would taste like a sour or an imperial sour. That's how sour this is. Hopefully it's not just a bad can and we're giving it a bad.
Hopefully, in a way, hopefully it's a bad can.
Mhm.
Because there's no way I would have guessed this was Jim Beam.
No, it smells like Jim Beam. When I smelled it, I went, "Oh, I know what this is." Yeah, it's
But
weird.
boy, here again, the aroma is vastly different than the flavor.
Well, the aroma is way different than the first one too, right?
Mm-hmm.
There would be a market for this. There are people that like that sourness. And it's sour. It's not tart.
Right. Yeah. And
You and I've talked about that. It's not tart. I like tart in some beer, but if you blindfold somebody, there's no way they could identify this beer.
like I said, this totally tastes like the lemon zest or orange zest.
We're gonna have to go back to the peanut butter to wash our mouths out.
I think you're right.
Said no mother ever. I'm gonna wash your mouth out with peanut butter.
Yeah, exactly. Boy, score wise, right now I'm like a 3.3 on this one.
I'm at a 3, maybe.
I give it credit because the 11%.
Yeah.
But boy, that is just
this sourness covers it up. Everything.
Yeah.
That I was going to like about it. I think. Yeah. Either they got a bad Jim Beam bottle or a barrel or this can could be old.
Bad.
I don't know.
I don't know.
At first, I thought maybe you can have weird. There was a little bit of head on this one where the other one there wasn't, and sometimes the carbonation can make stuff taste weird. But I'm past that now.
Yeah.
The bubbles are gone, and now I've got this sour, dark barrel aged something.
Boy, that ugh. And I hate to say that, but it was just. I think a new person coming in.
Don't do this.
Don't do this one. Not because the barrel flavor or anything, but just that.
Well, there is no barrel flavor.
No, just that sour kind of flavor I think could turn somebody off.
Well, it's turning me off. Every sip I take right now.
Well, I think you were going into it, you were a little bit expecting to be turned off because it sounds like you had a bad experience.
Yeah, no, Jim and I fought a lot of battles and not on the same team. Yeah, I would rather not have another one of those. And honestly, I'm seeing some floaters in it too. So maybe there is a zest or something in there.
It could be.
I don't know. There's a market for this, but it's not.
Maybe not us.
It's not labeled properly.
Right.
If you told somebody that you were going to come up with an imperial stout sour, I would say somebody else needs to buy it. But that's what it is. It is a sour beer.
Well, and if you remember, this is a few podcasts ago. I can't remember how many for sure, but it was right after the first of the year, I believe, when like Jim and I were talking about kind of our roundup and of the year before and that, and I had actually had a barrel-aged sour, and it really wasn't good.
You and I had one in Florida. We had a barrel-aged sour in Florida.
Yes.
Not on a podcast, but we bought one.
Yep. And this one was just not very good.
And did we have a barrel-aged fruited sour too?
I think so.
We did.
Yeah.
And that thing was like drinking some sort of thing it needed an umbrella in it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It came out gloopy and.
Yeah, that was kind of one of those you're like, ooh.
That is a technical term for those that have never had a gloopy beer. It comes out glooping.
Yeah. That's like advanced.
Yeah. That'll be in beer. That'll be in craft beer 201.
201, yes. Boy.
Well, okay, well, I'm going to step away and rinse these for that one.
Yeah, that one was really odd.
We don't need to taint the next couple.
No. So, yeah, it's, I don't know, that one was something. So, as Brian is cleaning out our glasses, so the next one in this series that we have is their Waterford Stillhouse. And this is 11%. And this says Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels from Waterford Stillhouse Distillery. So it's, again, another bourbon barrel. But this is from Waterford. Now, I don't know if I've ever had Waterford.
I was trying to think the same thing when I read that earlier, and I didn't get around to the Google machine to do it. But we'll do it now.
I mean, that's one of those things that it is really...
Waterford Stillhouse is in Waterford, Wisconsin.
Oh.
In Racine County, it's a micro distillery.
This one's got a little bit more head on it than...
So shout out to Wisconsin Distillery. I've never heard of it.
No, that should be interesting.
So we'll do a little more research
this
on
one,
that.
The can's got more of a kind of a teal kind of a color, a blue-green kind of color to it.
This one's got an odd smell to it, too.
Not quite as,
It's not like the Jim Beam one, but this one actually has kind of a fruity smell to it.
This almost has that tartness to it as well.
It's a different, though.
Not as bad, not like the Jim Beam, but it's...
I'm not thinking this is whiskey. Or does it say, it just says
bourbon barrels.
It says bourbon
Waterford Stillhouse Distillery.
So it almost tastes like gin. It's got a little of the piney, grapefruity part of it.
Yeah. It really doesn't have... to me, it doesn't taste like bourbon.
No, but this one's less offensive. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. It still is tart. This one's not sour to me.
No.
This one's tart.
It's not as sour as the Jim Beam one, by any means.
Neither one of the last two have tasted boozy. So I guess credit for that.
The first one...
Well, it offended me past the booze.
Yeah.
The first one.
The first one was more, you could taste a little bit of a booziness, not over the top booziness, but it was a little bit of a booziness. But that one tasted like bourbon. Yeah. These last two really haven't.
Yeah, Jim Beam didn't taste like Jim Beam. And this says bourbon barrels, but it's kind of a tart and it's got a floral,
it does have
smell to it.
And and I know we've discussed this before, and that's when we were first kicked around the idea of having a beer and then having the bourbon with it to compare them. I don't know what, like I said, this Waterford, maybe this does taste like their bourbon. I don't know. I don't think I've even seen it before.
I was thinking when I first read Waterford Stillhouse, I was thinking Woodridge.
Right.
Woodford, not Waterford.
Right.
And then when I read it a little bit ago, I thought, well, Waterford's Crystal. That's not distillery. What is going on?
Right. I give Mobcraft credit for doing these because I don't, barrel aging, I don't think is what they were really known for.
No.
You know what I mean? So at least they're getting, giving it a good shot. And we still have one to go. I mean, we have definitely had a lot worse barrel-aged beers. We've had a lot better, too.
So this says premium vodka, bourbon, light whiskey, and gin.
Well, that makes you wonder. When you said gin.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have had a bunch of 11% beers. So.
Yeah.
No, that was my first thing. Like I get that piney taste in gin, but maybe they do put a little bit of pine nuts or something in their bourbon.
It could be
It's possible because I get that. I get that pine tree, whatever.
That is kind of what it reminds me a little bit of. I don't know.
It's different.
It's different.
The other one was not good.
Right.
This one's different. Like I said, I was 2.8, 2.9 on the other one. This one
on the Jim Beam.
on the Jim Beam.
Yeah,
one.
honestly, I'm going to have to drop my score down on that one just because.
I want to give them credit for hiding the alcohol, but I also have to give no credit for the taste.
Right.
This one's got a little piney. I get tartness this time versus sour. And if anybody ever wants to debate me on that, I think Mike and I talked for 2 hours one time, not on a podcast, about what's tart and what's sour. This one's not bad.
And we learned, when you're discussing tartness and sour, you probably shouldn't be drinking high octane beers because by the end of it, we really couldn't remember what we
couldn't remember what we said.
So if we did solve that question, we don't remember how
we even talked about going to the store to get Sour Patch Kids and Sweet Tarts.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could probably give this one a 2.9 or a 3.
I was gonna say I was at like a same thing. I'll go with 3.
It's still in that tart and not a barrel aged imperial stout.
Right.
I think it'd be better with more bitterness. But I also think that they're the base model, right? That we had the first one of these four could have been more bitter.
Right. Yep. Yeah. So I don't know. It's not, like you said, it's not as, I'm not going to say off-putting, but not as strong of a flavor as the last one, as the Jim Beam one.
No.
I still don't know if I'd recommend it.
No. This would be one, again, if you're wanting to branch out, right? If you want to go branch out and try something you never had before, I still wouldn't throw this one out there first. If you like sours or if you like those types of oddities, this is a good one. The Jim Beam one was too over the top.
Yeah.
With whatever the heck that was.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. I agree. All right. Well, hey.
I better finish this yet.
I'm not quite yours there. Because we got the last one is one I'm hoping.
You and I have been looking forward to that. I'm going to rinse this one out too.
I'm hoping that this one.
Don't forget to roll this can. Maybe that's where we've been.
So no, I'm trying here. So this is the fourth and final one in this Mobcraft 4-pack. And like I said, when we saw it at the store, I was really intrigued because how many times do you see a 4-pack, not only of barrel-aged beers, but they're 4 different barrels? You know what I mean? That was really kind of, I give
unique.
Yep. I give them credit because that's a cool thing, I thought.
And that same day, we found 2 4-packs.
Yes.
All barrel-aged.
All barrel-aged.
From 2 different breweries.
So, yeah, I give them credit for that. And I think hopefully they keep doing like that. Now, it's odd to me because Mobcraft had shut down.
Right.
And I think they sold all their stuff, but somebody must have purchased the name and all that because all of a sudden I'm seeing Mobcraft beer pop up again.
I've been seeing it too. So.
So somebody, which is good.
Yeah.
Because they've been around for a while.
They had a lot of good beers.
Yeah. All right. So here we are on the last one. This is 11% as well. And this is an imperial stout aged in Great Lakes Distillery apple brandy barrels.
There we go. That's more than on the can. So Great Lakes Distillery.
Yeah. So we'll see how it is. And I know I've had, I think, 1 or 2.
Ooh, that's
and the last one kind of foamed up on me a little bit too.
Well, it could be because they're getting warmer too.
Yeah. And this one almost has just like a slight tinge of a red.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say.
And boy, I'm almost...
it smells different again.
Smells different again.
I'm going to let the bubbles go. I don't want to...
I'm trying to see if it's like an apple... kind of a smell to it or not.
Well, I don't even... Honestly, I don't know what they make apple brandy out of, what kind of apples. I think you can do it out of any of them.
Right.
I know when my uncle made the moonshine, he used the Granny Smith.
Okay.
Whether that's what you normally do.
Right.
I'm not a moonshiner, so I don't know. But
this one is definitely a more mellow flavor.
It's mellow. Boy, I'm not... That one... Now I get... This is a tart apple.
Yes.
This is like a Granny Smith or...
but I do get an apple...
I like it. This is
Yeah.
kind of, if you think of, I always kid around that the fakest apple in the world's a Jolly Rancher, right?
Right.
It's the worst tasting apple in the world. And it's obviously a Granny Smith apple or that tartness. That's exactly what that is.
Yep.
But not the Jolly Rancher kind.
No.
Right?
Yep.
That's different. The apple brandy one I had, you and I had one once before. It was many moons ago, long before there were apps to follow this stuff.
Yes.
And I think I had one other one that was a porter. A barrel-aged porter, I think it was. And I want to say I was in the East Coast, something traveling for work.
Yep.
That was really good. And this is different. This is a good one.
Well, a few years ago, when we go to Between the Bluffs, and 608 Brewing always has like a release, a barrel-aged release. Well, a few years ago, they released 4 beers and I still have them downstairs. I haven't cracked into them yet, but they had them on tap. So we had them on tap, and they had a apple brandy barrel, and oh my gosh, that was amazing.
That was the year before
you
went.
Yes,
up the first time.
Yep. But yeah, so the number of apple brandy barrel beers we've had is not a huge number, and I think
I don't think there's a lot of barrels.
Right, that's what I was going to say.
Be
There's
honest.
probably not that many.
There's
barrels.
probably more blackberry barrels than there are for
right.
apple brandy.
Yeah, exactly. So this one is not. I definitely like this one better than the last 2 for sure.
It's boozy, which I'm glad I taste now. Right.
Yeah.
It's definitely a tart apple, which I like.
The apple's not over the top.
It's very subtle.
Yep.
In fact, after the last 2, you go, oh, well, crap. Wait a minute. That's an apple.
Yeah.
Right?
Hold on a second. Yeah. Exactly.
There's no question.
Yep.
But it's pretty smooth for the tartness. It's pretty smooth. Mm-hmm. This is a different one.
Oh, wow.
It does say old apple brandy barrel, so maybe that's...
Well, that's what I thought it said too. But then in here it says GLD for Great Lakes Distillery.
I'm reading the can. It says old apple brandy barrel.
Okay.
So maybe they're Great Lakes old apple. That's a lot of words to put on.
Yeah, that's a lot of words.
Especially that small.
Yes. Yeah. When you're microprinting stuff, They
didn't want to interrupt the Persian rug design.
No, they paid good money for that design.
That's correct. If you just look at the lips of these cans, this one definitely has a red tint to it.
Yep. I thought when I was pouring it, I was like, it almost has a reddish
or bronze
hue.
or whatever. Yeah. It's definitely, actually, it's the same color as the can, that kind of reddish color.
Yeah. So what are you thinking as far as on a score?
Boy, this one's good. This is, out of all of them, this is the one that intrigued me the most just from the label.
Right.
This is the one that surprised me the most taste-wise. The very first of the Mobcraft, again, almost exactly what I expected. Minus, I would love to see a little more bitter. Right. This one kind of achieves the bitter, but through the tart apple part. Yep. Right. The dry, it's almost a dry. I want to say it's tart, but it's almost dry, like a wine or a red wine. I don't know. This is pretty decent. I'd probably have to go a 3.4, 3.5 on this.
Yeah.
It's not up in the 4 range by any stretch, but it's also not a 3.
Right.
I don't know. And we're getting down to the temperature where it ought to be. I think cold, this would not be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really think cold, this would not be good at all.
Especially with how the apple is pretty mellow.
You would lose the booziness.
You'd lose that. You'd lose I think it would just kind of turn into a cold nothing.
I feel like I get with this one. I feel like I get my wife always peels apples, and don't do that. The best part's the skin, and this is kind of that skin, the tartness that you get in the skin of a good Granny Smith apple. Yep. No, yeah, I'm in the 3.5, 3.6 range. Probably.
I was gonna say I'm gonna go with 3.6. I do think I agree 100%. This is not a 4 range by any means, but it's pretty decent.
It's getting a little warmer now in the glass, and I'm getting more apple. Yeah. The whole time I'm getting more apple. Yep. So we might have to revisit this one again.
Yeah, once we get done here, we'll have to revisit these.
Well, we got to revisit. We told the listeners we go back to the first 2.
That is true. So we do have to revisit the first 2 because they were definitely cold. Yeah. So, I give Mobcraft credit. Because like I said, I didn't even realize they did any barrel aging.
Well, and maybe this was after, right? This might have been the new owners going, hey,
it could be.
We're going to do X, Y, and Z, and we're going to collaborate. Stay tuned on that because I do see Mobcraft stuff. You do too, obviously, Wisconsin. Yeah. I'll for sure keep an eye out because I think we bought this 4-pack and the other 4-pack when we get around to that one.
We bought them in the cities.
Both in the cities. Yep. And the one is a Minnesota brewery and one is a Wisconsin brewery.
So
all right. So before we go any further, I'm going to rinse these and we're going to go back to the first 2.
Rinse them one last time. We're going to try the first 2 again because we want to give them a fair shake because like I said, they were definitely cold when we tried them. And, I know we've talked about it over and over on the podcast, but especially when you get into your imperial stouts and any kind of stouts, the colder they are, you lose flavor.
I say it all the time too, and I've said it on this podcast. There should be directions on every beer. If you're the brewer and you're out there, and if a brewer listens to this, you should put the directions. Just like if you were gonna send somebody a credenza to put together, there's the directions that go with it.
If a Kia can have their directions, even though you can't read them,
they can be crappy directions, but you still get directions. So we're trying.
Boy,
this
smells totally different.
This is the mint, right?
Yes, this is the Moonlight Mint.
Yep.
This smells totally different than when we first tried it.
This is where I got to the 4. It's a whole different beer.
It's a whole different. Yeah, I don't know if I'm at a 4 though.
That natural mint to me was what. Let's put it over the top. It was crisp.
Maybe it's because those last ones
bitter. It could be
tainted my taste buds, but
so my wife, obviously Mike knows, but listeners don't necessarily know, she's gluten-free. But if there are beers that I think she should try, she likes coffee beers, she likes certain ones, and I had her try this one. She goes, "Oh, that's good." The natural mint put me over the top. I was right at a 3.8, 3.9, and as I got in that it kept it crisp. It kept it in my nose almost. Yeah. No, I really enjoy this beer, and I'm not a big mint person per se.
Right.
I don't chew a lot of gum. Like I don't frolic in fields of aromatics.
Oh, come on now. Well, we know you do.
Nobody takes pictures. I do that privately. This one really impressed me. And mostly because
that mint does come out a lot
mostly
more.
Because you still get the bitter. And the bitter and the mint together are it's a weird contrast.
Yeah.
When you think about it, because you think of the stout bitterness and the stout roasted malts that are there. And then there's this crisp like mint leaf at the top of it.
Yeah.
It's really a neat flavor profile.
And it's not like spearmint. It's really.
They're not twins hawking gum.
No,
right?
Or even like peppermint. It's not really a peppermint flavor.
It is.
It's like
it is a mint
a
leaf.
mojito mint
leaf
kind of a flavor.
I make tequila spritzers for my wife and other people at our house, and it's got mint. And sometimes I'll throw blueberries in it, whatever, but it's always fresh mint. And I garnish it with the fresh mint. And that's that taste. It's not fake. It's not processed.
Right.
It's a raw mint taste. And to me, it changes. Like I said, I went 4.1 on it. Okay. I couldn't go higher than that. If it were a little higher octane and got a little more boozy flavor, like I think if they cranked that up to about a 10 on the 10%, 9.5%, 10% with a little boozy flavor, I think it'd be really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
But they might lose all that natural flavor.
Right. I was initially at a 3.5. I'm going to bump it up to a 3.7. I do like you're getting more mint. I do like that.
It's a totally different beer.
And it is totally different. So I really can't go to a 4 for whatever reason. It still has a little bit of a different flavor for me, but it is better than it was. Yeah. And I can see
it's a fair shake, right?
Yes. And when we get done recording here, I'm going to try it again, and it might bump it up again. I don't know, but right now I'm saying a 3.7.
This one too, for somebody that wanted to get off the beaten path, right?
Oh yeah.
This is not one that takes you too far off of it, but introduces new flavors.
Yep.
Right. The next one we're going to try again is off the beaten path and a gravel road, and you jump off a cliff. So
yes. So we're going to go back and revisit the Monkey Bar.
And of which I might be looking up a recipe for Monkey Bar. They may be as good as they taste.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows?
The last thing on that mint one too is it kind of has, and I know that you're not in love with it as much as I am, but it's kind of that red ale aftertaste.
Yeah.
That brewed iced tea bitter aftertaste. That's where that one goes to, which again is in my wheelhouse when it comes to beers.
Oh, sure. Boy, this one still smells like peanut butter.
I'm telling you, it smells more like a candy bar every time I smell it.
Yep.
Oh, good Lord. That's good.
I think I'm bumping that up to a 4.
Oh, easy. That's an easy 4.
That is.
And it's smooth.
Yeah.
There's no way that's 11%. I mean, I know they have to put it on the can and whatnot, but
man,
that's an easy 4.
If you find a 4-pack up there,
I do have a 4. They had them when I was there the other day.
You're gonna have to pick one up for me because
they had a couple. Because I'll take one too. That is
amazing.
That is a fantastic. That is a good
beer. Yeah, boy,
This is again to Mike's point before. This is a scary one where you drink 2 of them, and you're sitting around watching the final 4, and you go to get up because you just had 32 ounces of liquid, and you go, whoa.
And all of a sudden, the room starts to move.
Yep.
You're like, wait a minute.
Your carpet has waves.
Something's wrong here.
Yeah. That's an impressive beer.
That's very impressive. I'm I like that.
That's in probably my top 5 beers I've had in at least 6 months.
Oh,
sure.
Yeah.
Easily. That's when you want to, if anybody sees that out there.
I would definitely.
And wants one to impress their friends or just say, hey, look at what I found. This is a show and tell beer.
This one here, I'm going to make the executive decision that we're going to add it to our potential beer of the year list.
This is a seek it out beer.
Because this is extremely good. And a lot of them we have on there are barrel aged. Jim and I like barrel aged. Well, you do too. A lot of them are like that. We have a few other ones, but this one is definitely one I would put on the potential, at least to discuss it.
This is like, if you think of when you were a kid and there was always that one person on your block that at the block party that made dessert bars. This tastes like some little old lady's dessert bar that has way too much sugar and she slips to the kids when their parents aren't looking. That's what this beer is.
Yeah.
This is a show and tell beer. I didn't hear I heard somebody tell me that the other day that there are barbecue recipes that are show and tell. When your friends come over, show and tell, you make it. Yep. This is a show and tell beer.
Oh yeah, I agree. Because this, I still say, this one here, anybody that if they've never had a high octane beer, and again, now we're saying this and we're so used to high octane beers but man, I can't taste the alcohol at all.
The 7% before that taste more than this.
Yeah. And I think this one, a new person getting into craft beer could drink this one and they would be...
And fall down. I mean, and enjoy themselves.
But after they woke up, then they would be like, wait a minute. I mean, that is good. I like that.
So from my perspective, that's number 1.
100%. Oh, by far, 100%. Head and shoulders. Yeah, head and shoulders
that
above.
Blew me away. And thankfully, where I screwed up? I should have saved that because we have a beer tasting coming up on Memorial Weekend.
Yeah,
I'm usually pretty good at finding the oddball that wins a weird category, but unfortunately, I never bring anything that I've ever had. Right. So now I got to go find a new one. That's my number 1. I'm a little biased on the first one we had, the Moonlight, but the Mobcraft Basic 2-year bourbon barrel was a good bourbon barrel. Yep. It was a little light on the bitterness to be a stout.
Yep.
But it was smooth. It was boozy. If that's what you're looking for, a basic boozy sipper, while you sit by a campfire or what have you, we are getting close to fire season, right? That's a good one. It really is. Yep. It's a solid one.
Yep.
And then a close fourth, not even a close fourth, but fourth is the apple. Yeah. And then the other two, I don't know where. Yeah. I applaud their attempt to put a 4-pack together. I still question whether the Jim Beam was a good can or not.
I hope it was a bad can. You know what I mean? Because if that's what they were shooting for was the flavor that we got.
But maybe that's why I stopped drinking Jim Beam.
It could be. It could be. You never know.
There could be a reason. Maybe they changed the recipe. We did talk about Captain Morgan.
Yep.
No, that was weird. Out. Very strange. Very strange.
And it's funny because my list, looking at my scores, exact same.
Yeah.
The monkey bar, head and shoulders above everything. Then the mint was slightly above. It was second, and just a tick up on the bourbon barrel beer. The first one,
2-year barrel,
the 2-year bourbon barrel, and then the apple brandy was fourth.
Yeah.
And it was that for me was a step, just a notch down from there.
And just so everybody knows, we're going to pinky wrestle for the rest of this imperial pastry stout.
Oh no, we won't have to. We won't have to do that. I'll just take it.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, no, and congratulations, Brian, on bringing a potential beer of the year contender.
Well, I didn't intend to do that, but that is a fantastic beer.
That is a good beer. So
be sure to hashtag them.
Yes.
Hopefully they see that and they go, oh, thankfully somebody liked it or somebody gave us feedback, because it lacks a little bit in the drawing, although there's a hell of a lot of bananas on the front top.
Yeah.
Of it.
But boy,
what a great beer. What a fantastic beer.
What it lacks in drawings of bananas, it makes up for in flavor.
Yeah, artwork aside, it's a fantastic beer.
So awesome. Well, cool. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to this Barrel Aged with BK. Brian, thanks for partaking in this.
Absolutely, anytime.
Yep, and like we always say, we hope your campfire is always warm.
And your beer is always cold.
See ya. Thank you for listening to the Northwoods Beer Guy podcast. If you have a question, a comment, or a beer you'd like us to review, please feel free to send us a message at northwoodsbeerguy@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you're on Untapped, look up Northwoods Beer Guy and send a friend request. Until next week, I hope all your campfires are warm and all your beer is cold.